You just witnessed one of the most explosive preseason matchups in recent NFL memory, and the Ravens walked away with a 24-16 victory over the Colts that was loaded with storyline from start to finish. From breakout offensive plays to momentum-shifting special teams moments, and even a shakeup at quarterback for Indianapolis, this game had a bit of everything. The Ravens, known for their depth and disciplined approach in preseason games, came out aggressive on both sides of the ball. The first thing fans will remember from this game is how Baltimore's young talent stepped up in big moments, giving the coaching staff plenty to think about moving forward. Keaton Mitchell stole the show for the Ravens offense, delivering a pair of runs that reminded everyone why he's considered one of the team's most explosive backs. His 22-yard touchdown run in the second quarter was textbook Mitchell: patience behind the line, a burst through a narrow gap, and an effortless sprint to the end zone. He followed that with a 23-yard burst later in the game that left Colts defenders scrambling. Mitchell's vision and acceleration stood out, but what made his performance truly special was how comfortable he looked returning from injury. For a player whose speed is his calling card, this game was a statement that he's not just back, he's ready to make an impact immediately. If Mitchell lit up the scoreboard on offense, rookie LaJohntay Wester set the stadium on fire with special teams brilliance. The sixth-round pick from Florida Atlantic delivered an 87-yard punt return touchdown that will be on highlight reels all week. It wasn't just his speed, it was the way he navigated traffic, slipping between would-be tacklers and using one quick cut to leave three defenders behind. For the Ravens, who have been searching for a reliable return specialist, Wester's performance might have locked up that role. His ability to change the field in one play adds a dangerous dimension to Baltimore's arsenal. Tyler Loop, the Ravens kicker, had a mixed night that ended on a high note. After missing an early attempt, he redeemed himself in a major way with a booming 52-yard field goal that silenced any doubts about his leg strength. Kicking in preseason can be high pressure for players fighting for roster spots, and Loop's response to his early miss showed mental toughness, a quality coaches love to see in specialists. The Colts, on the other hand, had a night defined by quarterback changes. Anthony Richardson, the team's starting QB, began the game completing 2 of 3 passes for 21 yards. Unfortunately, his night was cut short by a dislocated pinky finger after being sacked by David Ohabo on a play where the Ravens' defensive front came through untouched. Richardson's injury is being described as day-to-day, but it's never ideal to see your starting quarterback on the sidelines during the preseason. Daniel Jones stepped in as a backup and had a mixed performance, going 10 of 21 for 144 yards. While he made some solid throws, inconsistency plagued his outing. Rookie Riley Leonard finished the game for Indianapolis, posting 92 yards and throwing 1 interception in limited action. Special teams were a huge factor for Baltimore beyond Wester's touchdown. Rookie running back Rasheen Ali nearly added another special team score with a long return that set up a short field for the Ravens' offense. These kinds of contributions in preseason are critical because they can swing games and give coaches a reason to keep certain players on the final roster. Special teams coordinator Chris Horton will no doubt be thrilled with the energy his unit brought to the field. Defensively, the Ravens made life difficult for every Colts quarterback. David Ohabo's sack on Richardson was a headline moment, but Baltimore's pass rush was active throughout the game, forcing hurried throws and limiting downfield opportunities. The Ravens secondary also showed flashes of dominance, particularly in their ability to contest passes and close quickly on receivers. In a game where the team wanted to evaluate depth players, the defensive unit delivered exactly what the coaching staff wanted to see: aggression, discipline, and a readiness to make big plays. From the sidelines, head coach John Harbaugh praised the performance of his younger players, noting that preseason is all about evaluating talent under live conditions. However, the night wasn't without its setbacks. Rookie linebacker Bill O'Connor suffered a torn ligament in his knee and will miss the entire season. The injury occurred during a routine tackle attempt, and while it didn't overshadow the team's overall performance, it was a reminder of the physical risks players face even in exhibition games. For the Colts, the main takeaway is a quarterback situation. Richardson's health will be closely monitored, and while Jones brings veteran experience, the team's offensive rhythm clearly suffered after the starter exited. The preseason is all about adjustments, but Indianapolis will need to tighten its offensive execution quickly if they want to hit the ground running in the regular season. Now, if you're enjoying this detailed breakdown of the game so far, take a second to hit the like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, especially on which player impressed you the most. Share this video with other football fans, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming in-depth game recaps. Looking deeper at the Ravens' potential this season, one of the most intriguing aspects is how this preseason performance compares to their past Super Bowl runs. Historically, Baltimore's championship teams have featured strong special team play, opportunistic defense, and a balanced offense. In this game, those elements were on full display. Wester's return touchdown mirrored the kind of game-changing plays Jacoby Jones delivered during the Ravens' 2012 run. Mitchell's explosive rushing reminded longtime fans of Ray Rice's playoff bursts. If these trends continue into the regular season, it's not far-fetched to think Baltimore could be building towards something big. The Colts, meanwhile, will have to use this game as a learning experience. Their offensive line struggled to protect their quarterbacks, and while their defense held up reasonably well against Baltimore's attack, the inability to stop explosive plays was costly. Rookie defenders showed promise, but they'll need more time to adjust to the speed of the NFL. The coaching staff will also need to decide whether Jones can be relied upon as a backup if Richardson's injury lingers longer than expected. Another key element from this game was the Ravens' ability to control the tempo. Even when the Colts made pushes downfield, Baltimore's defense tightened up in the red zone, forcing field goal attempts instead of giving up touchdowns. This bend-but-don't-break approach has long been part of the Ravens' defensive identity, and seeing it executed effectively in preseason is a good sign for the team's early-season confidence. One underrated performance came from Baltimore's offensive line. While the skill players grabbed most of the headlines, the line quietly did an excellent job creating running lanes for Mitchell and providing adequate protection for the quarterbacks. Depth along the offensive front is critical, and in a preseason where starters often see limited snaps, it's encouraging to see backups step in and perform well. As for the Colts positives, rookie wide receiver Josh Downs showed flashes of why the team is high on him, making contested catches and displaying good awareness in finding soft spots in the Ravens' zone coverage. Running back Jonathan Taylor, although limited in action, looked sharp on his carries, suggesting that Indianapolis will lean heavily on the ground game if the passing attack needs time to gel. This preseason meeting between the Ravens and Colts will likely be remembered more for individual performances than the final score, but that's exactly the point of games like this. For Baltimore, the emergence of Mitchell, Wester, and Loop as difference makers could shape the roster in ways we didn't expect just a week ago. For Indianapolis, the focus now shifts to health, particularly for Richardson, and figuring out how to keep the offense moving regardless of who's under center. In the end, the Ravens left the field with more answers and questions, while the Colts head back to the drawing board with valuable film to study. The road to the regular season is short, and both teams will use this game as a building block, one toward fine-tuning a roster ready for a playoff push, and the other toward establishing an identity that can weather early challenges.